Welcome back to episode 12 of my challenge trying to take $10 and turn it into $1,000 through disc golf alone. Today, we're at $803 in profit currently. This is episode 12, so there's 11 previous ones if you haven't watched those. We started off with a mini, we won it, played a bunch of events, and we've also been flipping used bin discs. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at what did I find. But before I look through these 17 discs with a ton of really interesting Discraft discs in here, I had an accidental mini episode where I was playing around at Bill Allen and some people were selling some used discs out of the back of their car. We picked up 4 of those. So let's look at that first. We'll talk about those, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna look at all of these. There were 2 guys just selling used bin discs or used discs that they found on the course, I'm guessing. Well, I got a pinned Star T-Bird, just muddy, $5, max weight. Paul Macbeth 4-time destroyer, pinned, $5. I got a $10 2024 Nate Sexton Color Glow Halo Champion Firebird, and I got a pin Star Eagle with no ink or anything. This is an incredibly good feeling eagle. Can you believe I just found that on the course on hole 14? Spent $30 for these 4 discs. They're gonna be up on the website. So the first disc that we're gonna look at here is a North Cove fundraiser disc for another round. This one is, if you follow a lot of the Discraft Luna collectors or the Facebook pages, the North Cove Lunas were like a 2020 Tour Series remake. They did just run, of course, the 25 Tour Series, and we all know how good that plastic came out. But this was a very hot disc and still remains a very hot collectible disc. This one has no ink on it. It was $10 in the used bins. It sat there for less than a day, of course, because something like this isn't going to sit there in the used bins long. And these things sell for crazy amounts. I don't understand why they're selling for like $100 up at the top. And there are so many other examples on eBay, at least, of these selling for a lot of money. So interesting find. And of course, once I saw the North Cove on there, I knew that one was a disc I should probably pay attention to. I'm going to keep moving just from like putters, mids to drivers. And I also do have some really, really cool discs from other manufacturers at the end. But this is a 2020 Van Dyken Tour Series Z Meteor. This was the plastic that I was just talking about with North Cove Luna that they're remaking, which is an incredibly good stiff plastic. The webbing on these are absolutely incredible. I'll make sure to get some pictures of this because I was super happy to see this one. It actually had been in the used bins, I think maybe twice since I had gone there. And nope, I'm kidding. It was only there for 2 days before I got it. So this one was pretty cool. It must have been a different one that came through. There's almost no comps for this disc. I have no clue. It could be a risk. It was $10 in the used bins, but it was really, really nice. And it's that plastic everybody's looking for. Next up is a 2024 Jawbreaker ESP Champions Cup Buzz, but it's a misprint, but it's ever so slightly misprinted, which is actually really cool. It gives this crazy 3D effect on the stamp. And it was pretty cool. It's pink and blue in there too. It's a really actually good feeling buzz. I think it's like the perfect mixture of stiffness, gumminess, and grip, to be honest. So picked that one up brand new for $12. The next one I picked up was this mini buzz stamped Jawbreaker Z Buzz. This is a very stiff run of Jawbreaker Z. It's not like that super flexible run, and it's still pretty grippy. The only comp we could find on a disc like this was like selling for 38, I think it was, off of eBay. Not a lot of history on this one. If you know anything about this run, let me know. But for $10 for a almost brand new, really nice feeling Jawbreaker Z Buzz, we picked it up and we'll see what happens. I do love buzzes right now. I've been wanting to get every single plastic of buzz there is. I'll have to show you my collection in another video. Actually, that's an interesting one. I really want to go through all like 800 discs, and not all of them, but go through like my favorite ones in my collection and then have you all like whatever the top, let's just say 10 comments are that get liked or something. I'll go play a full round of disc golf with the coolest discs you think that I own, which would actually be really fun. But this is a PFN or pre-flight number Buzz. It's just Z, but you know, it was in super good condition. I know these aren't going to sell for a crazy amount of money, but it is a older run of Z Buzz, so I was curious to see how this actually flew compared to some of the newer runs. I don't think you're going to have like a... It's not like the pre-flight number stuff from Innova, where Innova pre-flight number discs are super hard to find and are really, really just sometimes just better than current stuff. But yeah, I figured I would pick it up and see how this did too. Do you guys want another Buzz? Because this one's the coolest one that I've found since that first run Buzz in the used bin. This is a little spin dyed 2015 Legstone Edition Glow Flex Buzz. This is a pretty good, I don't know if I would say legendary run of the Buzz, but they sell for a lot of money. It's like such a great feeling disc. So this is basically Z Glow Flex plastic, and very cool. My first Ace disc was actually ESP Glow Flex, which this feels similar, but I think the Z plastic in here is an even better touch with that Glow Flex feeling. So this one could go like for a lot of money, 50, 60 bucks. With the spin die, I think you'd need the right buyer, but this is a very cool Buzz, and it flies really well. This one I picked up, again, as I'm trying to find more discs in that overstable mid-range slot for my own bag. This is a 2015 Glow Flex Buzz OS. So similar to the one that I just showed this Buzz, just the bigger brother, the Buzz OS. This one was an Ace disc, which I normally don't buy Ace discs, especially if it's your number one Ace disc, but the story behind a lot of these Discraft discs that I'm going to be talking about come from somebody who had just turned in their entire collection. So this is one of those times where sometimes you walk in the door and there's somebody who has like 100 to 200 discs just piled up on the counters, and they were all coming in that day. So I picked up some goodies, and I mean, one of those was this one, which again, I just want to try it out. But the 2015 run of the Glow Flex Buzz OS is also a pretty sought after run. It's just inked up, which is kind of the downside to that one, but I'm going to throw it and we'll see if it could make my bag. This is another like accidental find. It's like I don't research everything as I'm going through the used bins, because I'll pick out, let's just say maybe I pick out like 20, 30 discs that I think look interesting, and I'll put them up on the counter and kind of just keep looking, and then I'll go back through and say like, okay, which ones do I want? Because I don't buy all the goodies. There's so many, there's just an unlimited amount in replay. But this one is a Discraft ESP Glow Passion, which is, I saw a couple of these being termed as like the first run Passions, the Paige Pierce ones, and I was honestly shocked to see these going for like 50 bucks and up. So it's board flat. I thought it was just Z Glow, but now it makes a ton more sense that it's ESP Glow, because it's a little bit slicker than you would expect a Z Glow disc. Super flat, board flat. I've thrown this and it is way more overstable, by the way more overstable than what these flight numbers suggest, and it almost flies like a mid-range. That's the interesting thing about this disc to me, is it's like more of like a 6-speed. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but this disc didn't really fly through the air super well, and it almost looks like a mid-range. But it's an interesting disc and an accidental one, because I just wanted to get it. I might dye it, I was like, it might make the bag, but that one is a pretty cool find on accident. So I've heard about these Jomez Pro Cicadas. This was the 2024 Tour Series from last year. Nice swirls. Jawbreaker in here is pretty wild when you look at this. So this one's in super good condition, but again, it's just part of that big buy that I ended up, picking up a dozen of these discs when they turned it in. But these are also pretty sought after, hard to find discs, and they're selling for a decent bit of money too. Okay, Discraft prototype fans. All right, this one is a prototype before the prototype Onyx came out. It doesn't have flight numbers or anything on the disc, because I'm guessing they were still trying to figure out what they were going to put it at. But if you know about this run compared to the other prototype Onyxes, let me know. I was shocked to see how much these were going for as well. Some of those are selling for anywhere from like $50, $60, $70 on eBay. So interesting run. It's an ESP Sparkle instead of the traditional ESP Onyxes that had come out. So that one was really cool. So when I was looking through the used bins, there are actually 2 or 3 of these Get Sneaky Vultures. Now, this one, when I picked it up, I could tell it was a little bit different than like the Jawbreaker Z and the Z that I had just previously found. I passed on those two, but this one had a little bit of like more grippiness to it. I had a suspicion it might be Z Glow plastic. So I grabbed one of the lights that Replay has, and I checked, and it definitely was Z Glow plastic. So I looked it up, and these actually look like they were more of a sought after disc, harder to find, sometimes just supply and demand. So this one was a pretty cool $10 pickup from the used bin. So those were the Discraft discs that I ended up finding. Here's the rest of what we found in the used bins. This is a Night Watch Envy. I don't know exactly who did this, but the triple stamp and the artwork is really, really cool. This one was just an $8 find in the used bins. It was brand new though. So it looks like originally these were going for about $20, and that's what I'll put it up for. But very, very cool disc with that awesome triple stamp. I mean, who doesn't love a good Envy? But how about a patent pending Eclipse Glow Proton? This is like the 1.0 where the glow was supposed to be the rim here, but it's actually in this beautiful blue, like just metal flake plastic. It's a vector, which the vectors are extremely difficult to come across. You don't see these every day. So very, very cool. And this is an out of production run as well. And this thing is absolutely just dead straight. If this is a mold and a disc that you're like dying for, you can buy it from me, but I don't think I'm planning on selling it right now. As part of also one of the other things I'm trying to try out are a bunch of different overstable mid-ranges. So somebody, I think it was Jake, was mentioning the taco from Mint. So this is the Skull Tacos run, which this was brand new in the used bins for only $8. So infinite discs, whenever they come into the used bins, they don't go into like the typical $12 for star, $10 for champ. This one was only $8 for like a star type of plastic. This disc is absolutely extremely overstable. When I've thrown it, it is something else, but really grippy and a really cool stamp on that disc. Another mold that I've been really interested to try out because it feels amazing in hand is this Proton Matrix. So this one has some metal flakes, some glitter in there in the run, which is actually great. In pretty decent shape, and every time I've thrown it, it's got a little bit of a flip up to flat, and then it does have a finish at the end. So pretty true to the flight numbers. This one's been thrown a bit, but it's still in pretty good condition. I'm trying out the Matrix again because some of you have mentioned this disc a lot. So when I saw this in the used bins, finally one came in and I snagged it. Not everything is just for flipping and making money, but all the flips pay for all the other stuff in my collection, which is the cool part. And this is, I've been trying to learn more about Latitude or Trilogy in general. This is a Saint Pro. It's a pre-flight number 1, so it's an older run, really, really good condition, this pink one. And so I was like, you know what, we'll give it a chance on this one. It's sitting in their used bins for like 3 or 4 months at this time, but it's a pre-flight number Saint Pro. And I've got one more Saint Pro, because again, the Saint Pro, I know Kristen throws this disc really well, so I wanted to actually give it a throw. Kind of felt like it would be sort of like an Eagle. It's more like an Eagle L almost. But this is a Johnny McRae Saint Pro. This one is his signature disc. There's no flight numbers on this one either, so it's an older run of the Saint Pro. I think there's some good examples of these going for like $30 right now. So both of those were $10 finds, and we'll put them up on the website and see if there are any Trilogy fans who watch these videos. I truly do not know, but that's what I ended up finding in the used bins and at the course, which is hilarious. So now let's talk about the update. Where are we sitting with our challenge trying to get to $1,000 in profit? Let's start off with those discs I found at the course. So 3 of the 4 discs have sold, which is great. So I found a $5 T-Bird, and that sold for $20. It was the pinned run. And then I had a $5 Paul Macbeth 4-time destroyer, which is a great run of destroyers that people love collecting and throwing and bagging. So that one was a $5 disc, sold it for $20 as well. Then the third disc that I had sold out of that was that pinned Star Eagle, the really older run, fingerprinty board flat one. That one was a $10 used bin find out of the back of the car, sold that for $25. So those 3 discs alone sold for $65. I paid $30 for those 4. So I'm already up $35 in profit with a neat Section 24 Firebird to add to the collection because I didn't have that year. I don't know what happened to the one I had bought. Okay, so now let's get into the other flips that we had. Everything was pretty much coming from the website here again as well. Next up was that first run Quantum LS, Orion LS. So this was a $10 find and I sold it for $25. The next we sold the patent pending Vision Photon, nice glittery one, $10 find for $20. Then we sold 2 first run Discraft discs from the used bins. The first was the Page Pierce Nuke. We found that for $12 and sold it for $25. Then another first run was that first run Raptor, the gray one, sold for $25, and that one was a $20 disc. The next step was the first run Raptor, the Z Raptor. That one was a $10 find, brand new in the used bins, and sold for $25. Another Discraft disc that sold here was the same run of Raptor that Adam Hammis bags. When I played with him at the Hideaway Open, I watched him throw that disc all over the place, and it was incredible to watch. I get why these Raptors are hard to find. So that one was a $10 find, sold for $30 on the website. I had also found a Innova made DDX. That one sold for $15. I didn't put that one up for a lot. I don't think DDX is the most sought after mold that Innova made for Discmania. That was a $5 flip, as it was $10 from the used bins. All right, so that's 2023 Proton Servo from the Circuit Challenge. Actually ended up selling off the website after I posted that video last week for $25. So that adds $15 of profit to our challenge. And the last one that I sold as part of this video was the Quantum JLS, the Millennium Run that sold for $20 off the website, and it was a $10 find. So that's going to bring our total profit for this challenge up to $952. We are only $48 away from our goal. All of the used discs that I found in the bins are going to be going up for a pretty decent price on the website. I hope you guys enjoy this content because it is probably my favorite content to put out there. And we'll keep looking through the used bin finds, keep throwing them, keep seeing what we can find. And again, I appreciate all the comments on what discs to look out for that overstable slot as I'm still working that into the bag. Hope you guys enjoy your Father's Day. I'm off to Father's Day activities today, and I will catch you guys in the next video.